forever be true. Cherish this life that's destined for you. Live your life with kindness and care. Remember, Allah will always be there, be there. Nikahun mubarakun, zawajun mubarakun, an-nikahu min sunnati.
Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalam. Ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain. Amma ba'd. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Hunna libasul lakum wa antum libasul lahunna. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. I welcome all of you with Islamic greetings. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May peace, mercy and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be on all of you. Today we are going to have a special session by the name Better Half or Bitter Half. And you're most welcome to ask any questions related to marriage, to nikah, regarding how to choose a life partner, how to conduct a nikah, what are the pros and the cons, about married life, the problems, the good things, the do's, the don'ts, the halals, the harams. You're most welcome to ask any questions regarding before you say I do, or before you say Kabul hai, or before you say I accept it, as well as after you say I do, or Kabul hai, or after you say I accept it. You're most welcome to ask any questions so that you get the best life partner, so that you can decide whether the relationship you're going into, whether it's a wedlock or a padlock. So brothers and sisters, you're most welcome to ask any questions on the topic of marriage. Any sisters have any questions?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi. My question is that a woman is created from a crooked rib of a man. Could you just explain this, please?
What the sister is talking about is the hadith. It's a Sahih hadith of Sahih Bukhari, volume number 4, in the book of Stories of the Prophets, hadith number 3331, where the Prophet said that the woman is created from the rib. And the most crooked part of the rib is the upper part. And if you try and straighten it, it will break. Therefore, the Prophet continues that you have to be patient with your wife. There's a hadith again which says that how she was created from the rib of Adam. May Allah be pleased with them both. So based on this hadith is there. What is the meaning of this hadith? What the sister quoted is part of the hadith. The complete hadith is that the woman is created from the rib of the man, and the most crooked part of the rib is the uppermost part. And if you try to straighten it, it will break. Therefore, you have to be kind and you have to be patient with your wife. So the whole thing is that you have to be good to her, you have to treat her well. The full hadith says, therefore, treat the wife well. What is the reason that the Prophet said that the woman is made from the rib and the most crooked part is the upper part? Many people think that this is a negative hadith, trying to degrade the woman, that the women are degraded, they are made from the crooked part, and does it mean that the women are crooked? And if you try to straighten her, there will be problems. So what is the meaning of the hadith? See, I being a medical doctor, I know that the ribs are very important for the human body. The ribs give protection to the lungs of the chest. And because of the curvature of the ribs, it's possible. If the ribs were flat, that's not possible. You know, the ribs are curved. It acts like a cage. It acts like an armor. And because of the curvature of the ribs, there's protection to the heart, there's protection to the lungs, and the ribs are also flexible to a certain extent. And the ribs, take the impact if anything happens. So because of the curvature of the ribs, the protection is possible. If the ribs weren't curved, it wouldn't be able to protect the heart, which is a very vital organ, the lungs, etc. So the ladies, the women should not take it as a negative factor, they should take it as a positive factor. Many a times how you look at from which angle is important. A person can be a pessimist, a person can be optimist. I'm an optimist person. So that doesn't mean it is negative. That means you have to be careful with her is right. Why? For example, let me give you another analogy. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed on the woman the tender love and affection. the tender love and care that she has being a mother, the same is not found in the father. Therefore, the respect for the mother is 3 times more than the father. Now, because of that emotional feeling which is there in the lady, so that she can be a good mother, it has certain negative factors. The negative factor is that because she is emotional, she can take care of the children. At the same time, she has more chances of getting hysterical as compared to the gent. So when there's the positive and negative, but the positive is much more than the negative. The positive is she can behave like a good mother. She can take care of the children. But negative factor is that she can get, not that every woman is hysterical. The chances of hysteria in women is more than men, yet it may be just a small percentage. But the motherhood is there in every woman, but the hysteria is not there in every woman. The same way here, because of the crookedness of the rib, the advantage is more. The negative factor is that if I try and straighten the rib, it will break. So here also the woman is being compared to the rib. The positive factor is that she can be good. She can take care, she can be a muhsana, as the Quran says. But be careful, treat her kindly, treat her with justice, be good to her. Don't try too much of pressure. There's too much of emotions, the woman can get hysterical. Too much of pressure is there. The same thing, I would say that this is a positive hadith. But many of the Orientalists and many of the non-Muslims, they pick out hadith and they put on the net and they malign Islam, and many of our Muslim women, oh yes, what to do now? So they get, again hysterical. So it's positive and negative. You have to look at the positive. So I take it as a positive hadith. And it's an honor for the woman to be compared to the rib, which is a very vital part of the body, in taking care of the vital organ, that is the sadr, the center, that is the heart. She's like a muhsana. That's the fortress against the devil, which is mentioned in several places in the Quran. In Surah Nisa, chapter number 4, verse number 24. Surah Nisa, chapter number 4, verse number 25. In Surah Ma'idah, chapter number 5, verse number 5. In Surah Nur, chapter number 24, verse number 4. Surah Nur, chapter number 24, verse number 33, and various other places in the Quran. Hope that answers the question. Any brothers have any questions?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Dr. Zakir, we've noticed that nowadays, people are trying to search their spouses on the internet, and many times, like on the Facebook, and sometimes they're not just searching, they're just, adding na-mahrams in their so-called friends list. And when you ask them, like, why have you done this? They say that, it's for probably dawah or Islah-related purposes. Let them be there. And we see that Muslimas uploading their pictures. So how far is it right?
Well, that's a very good question. That how far is it Islamic for a person to search for spouses, girl for a boy and a boy for a girl, on the internet, uploading the photographs, whether it be for searching with the spouse, whether it be for doing dawah, etc. I feel that as long as they do not break any rules of the Sharia, that's the normal answer for many things, and even this thing. Come to the mid answer. As long as they're within the purpose of the Islamic Sharia, there's no problem. But we fail to realize that for a man, for a boy, to put his photograph can be accepted. But the reason is, why does he want to put his photograph? Why does he want to put his photograph on the website is the question. I'm talking about general, for doing dawah, whatever it is. Now, as far as searching a life partner is concerned, if a boy puts, there's no problem, but the girl, I feel it's not permissible. For a girl to put up a photograph looking for a life partner in a website is not permissible. Personally, if a person comes through the parents, through a known friend, through an Islamic organization, gives the photograph, no problem at all. It is within some boundaries. And see to it that even that time, when a girl gives the photograph, see to it that if it's rejected, it comes back. Don't distribute 20 here, Fatafat, and then see to it that it's really serious, goes to an Islamic person, goes, and see to it comes back. Or it comes back to a person who okay, keep it. If you show it, get it back. That's very important. But on Facebook, anyone can download it. Anyone can take out a printout. Nahi naam hai receipt. So it's out of the question for applying. Magazines are at least okay. Because when you go to a matrimonial column in an Islamic magazine, there it is just the address and a brief sketch. There's no photograph. What is the height? What is the complexion? What is the do's and don'ts? That's fine. That's no problem at all. But going on the website, there are many other things. Then, okay, fine. Then you can chat. See, again, chatting. Why you want to chat forward? So when you do a personal chatting one-to-one with a nah-mahram, whether searching for a life partner or not, I feel, if If not totally haram, it is at least makruh. Many scholars have given fatwa it's haram. Many good top scholars have given fatwa it is haram. For a lady to chat, not for searching a mehram, otherwise it's haram. Many scholars have given. I'm not going to that extent. I said, if not that, at least it is makruh. Even while doing dawah. While doing dawah, if a person has his own photograph and everything and conveys and goes and chats and all, fine. If you go in an anonymous name and maintain that, maintain all identity, and go and do dawah, to a certain level, it's acceptable. But while doing dawah, being open, okay, I'm so-and-so, I'm living so-and-so, I'm doing dawah, and then dawah, what happens otherwise? Therefore, I say a man should do with man and female to female, male to male, female to female. You have that you want to go and do dawah in colleges, and then you go in sitting in a room and doing chatting in a closed room, and the third person is the devil. Fine? I'm talking about live. This goes to a certain extent, to a lesser extent, but even on the net. Then if it becomes too close, then you like to meet and, fine. Man, there's so many cases. Chatting, oh, London, no problem. And one day wants to go, oh, you want to come to London? When you're coming, what's your flight number, so and so? Fine, I'll be at the airport, or whatever it is. And there are so many cases, whether Muslim or non-Muslim. This is how the human nature is. So I agree with those that it is not permitted for opposite sex. Fine, you want for information, go to a website, get the information, download it, fine. But chatting, if you have exclusively only for ladies, no problem, gents, no problem. And for matrimonial, I am not in favor at all. If not haram, at least makruh. That's for sure. And what happens? That what guarantee do you have? Your chatting means, and that's where it starts. That's where it starts. You chat and you start liking the person. When finally you see the product, dil laga ghadi se pari kya cheez hai, wohi idhar hai. And then we say, out of all the cases, this. How you met? No, I met on the internet. Where is he? UK. Where is he? USA. What? So first, the affinity has come. It's not Islamic affinity. It is opposite sex affinity. It comes, and when you meet, you realize what was there. What was Islamic? Nothing actually. Looks, nothing. But the affinity is there. Then you go against your parents. Then you go against the person, and this is very common. So therefore, I am totally against. Known evil is better than unknown evil. At least you know a person, okay, fine, Islamic ways, he's a little bit less. You know he's secure, doing a job. You know his background, you know his parents, you know his friend circle, you know he has no vices. This person, what do you know? Just by chatting on the internet, what do you know what is he doing? Maybe possible. Those people who have such marriages, they may be successful, a few. But it's too much of a risk. Going to a foreign country, you don't know what's going to happen. And you leave everything what you're doing here. It's totally, I feel, it's not correct. So therefore, you have to be careful using such things. Yes, going to a magazine for this, fine. And then you go to shadi.com. I don't know what shadi.com is. I've only heard that name. I don't know how they conduct. But if it's done Islamically, it's possible. But it's very difficult. I don't know, there may be some Islamic websites which may be taking precaution not to put photographs, only taking the information like how they do in the magazine. Possible. Maybe, I don't know of any. Maybe, I'm not very internet savvy. I have my staff doing, I hardly use the internet. So in this way, I don't know, but if there is something following all the guidelines of the Islamic Sharia and seeing to it that the girls and don't chat on their own, you go to a bureau, no problem. Go to a bureau, ask for information. Someone is moderating in between as a moderator, no problem. But you going chatting live with the person, I feel it's leading you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hope that answers the question. Inshallah, we'll take the next question after a short break.
نكاح مبارك زواج مبارك.
Regarding duties,
the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever sleeps over a prayer or forgets it, he must pray it as soon as he remembers it. There are no expiations other than that.
putting queries,
How to offer salah while traveling? Can a woman travel without a mahram? Is it true that actions are based upon intention?
taking responsibilities.
To answer all your questions and queries, join me in Umdat al-Ahkam.
Let's ponder the bestowed knowledge to approach the correct Islam. Join Asim Al-Hakim in Umdatul Ahkam every Monday, Wednesday and Saturday at 10:30 p.m. Saudi Arabia and 11:30 p.m. UAE on Peace TV.
Where truth is hidden, misleading quotations create confusion. Where truth is hidden, lack of knowledge and wisdom cause upheaval and commotion. Where truth is hidden, manipulated scriptures and twisted facts emerge. This very hidden truth creates false propaganda, mayhem, chaos, disorder, and turmoil in our lives and the world order. But is there anyone with courage and wisdom? What is the truth and who has the courage to expose it? Because it's your right to know the truth.
Watch Truth Prevail and Lies Perish in Truth Exposed by Dr. Zakir Naik every Friday to Wednesday at 9 p.m. Saudi Arabia and 10 p.m. UAE on Peace TV.
A happy marriage is not about a wedding license. It is not about a great wedding night.
Yasir Fazaga.
A happy marriage is not when two people get married to be happy. A truly happy marriage is when two people get married to make each other happy. To know more, please join us in our program Before You Say I Do.
Join Yasir Fazaga in Before You Say I Do, next on Peace TV.
نكاح مبارك زواج مبارك.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to the program, Better Half or Better Half. And we'll be continuing the question answer session related to the topic of marriage.
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I wanted to continue with my earlier question, and I wanted to ask you that if a person has already fallen in love, even if the person is not following hijab, and because of that gets into it, but later on realizes his or her mistake, then how would a person convince the person who has fallen in love? What measures would you give to stay away from it and to maintain the hijab, and so that the person does not fall prey to his or her desires, like staring and stuff like that?
Just to ask the question that if a person, being a teenager, that's what was the earlier question, has fallen in love, and because of some habits, maybe staring and intermingling, which now he has realized. So what advice can we give him so that he comes out of it? Now the question is fallen in love. How much has he fallen is important. So first I'll do a survey. How much has he fallen? To what extent has he fallen? To which levels of Sharia has he fallen or she has fallen? So first I'll do that. And then I'll try and advise him. If it's just an infatuation which the person has broken certain rules of the hijab and little bit intermingling, little bit handshakes and all, little bit going out and all, that it's easier to get him out. But if he's fallen so deep to the bottom of the well that he had a relationship, then my advice would be different. Fine? Because the Quran also says in Surah Nur chapter 24, verse number 3, that adulterous woman should marry an adulterous man or an unbelieving man. For a zani, it's a zaniyat. And for a zaniyat, it's a zani. So based on this, my advice would be different, trying to find what extent is that, who's the girl, or the girl has fallen into boy, who's that boy, how well can they get along together, etc. So the advice would depend upon what level has the person fallen. If it's extreme level, I'll try and find and see to it that if he has improved or she has improved, and the other girlfriend or boyfriend, what level is he or she, and then try and counsel. And if both can come to the straight path, what they've done is wrong, that's no problem. If both are coming to the straight path and both have realized their mistake and they agree to follow Quran and Sunnah, I would say, okay, get married. Fine. So at least they're following the verse of the Quran, that both have committed that sin and both continue. But if it is that they have not gone to that deep level, then it is but natural. You say it's an infatuation, what it is wrong. stay away from it. And, but natural, get him closer to the Islamic activities, ask him to read the Quran, ask him to see Islamic lectures. And but natural, one of the important thing is lowering the gaze. That whenever you're interacting with any opposite sex, if he or she is not the mahram, then you lower the gaze. This is very important. This is a very important factor, because if you have to talk with the opposite, lowering the gaze, then the chances of getting infatuated is less. But if you lower the gaze and meet every day for half an hour and talk, if it's a classmate, then also there's a problem. Lowering the gaze and talking, then the voice is sufficient to infatuate you. Same thing. So all these are things that should not meet the opposite sex unnecessarily. You know, where do you go? I went out, I went to Singapore for a holiday. Oh, how was it? Very good. Which is the last movie you saw? These things you can speak. The girl can speak with the girlfriend. The boy can speak with the boyfriend. But opposite sex don't require it all. So these things which are not required, not a must to speak, should be avoided while speaking with the opposite sex. And when required, when certain thing is there, when you have to speak with lowering the gaze, whether it's a duty of performing or in college, etc. So in that time, lowering the gaze and speaking, this will prevent them from getting involved in this thing. And the best is, if you're young, get married as early as possible. As I mentioned earlier, beloved Prophet Muhammad said, it's hadith of Sahih Bukhari, volume number 7, in the book of Nikah, chapter number 3, hadith number 4, that, O young people, whoever has the means to get married should get married. For that will protect the modesty. So best is marrying early. If you marry early, it is good. There are less chances of deviating. And it's easier to be on the Quran and Sunnah. And there are many benefits. So marrying early is preferable. But again, that's the reason you try and find a life partner. And don't wait too long. I'm trying to find a good life partner now. And I'm only 20, now 21, 22, then you're 30. Then all your options that you had run down. So don't wait till 35, 40, and then you sit down to compromise. So earlier the better. When you realize after maybe a few months or a couple of years, the market is what you want and not getting. So see to it that you take the decision fast. Don't be too late. Then your compromise will keep on getting so low. So then you realize, oh, that person, what I had is far 10 times better than what I got now. The person you rejected, thinking he's not virtuous, your virtuous definition. The one you marry is 10 times worse than him and has other problems, but then it is your choice. So that's very important, the decision that you take. Therefore, being in consultation with someone who's knowledgeable, someone who's experienced, someone who can guide you is very important in this case. Hope that answers the question, sister.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
My question is, can a wife insist on separate living quarters for herself and her children, away from in-law, knowing that the parents are old and husband can't afford maintenance of 2 homes? Does he have to fulfill her demand?
Sister has a question that, is it permissible for a woman to ask her husband for separate lodging and boarding, a separate family, rather than staying with the parent-in-laws, knowing very well that he cannot afford it? It's totally wrong. It's putting the husband in difficulty and putting yourself in difficulty. So if you know that the husband can't afford and you put, fine, before marriage, no problem. Before you marry, you say, I'll marry you if you have a new home, I cannot stay, that's permissible. He won't marry you, you don't marry him, you can stay separately, no problem. Once you're married, then you put the condition that I want to stay separately, and he may be earning less. He has his duties to look after the family as well look after the parents. Because his Jannah is beneath the feet of his mother. So you want to take your husband out of his Jannah is wrong, sister. And especially knowing very well that he cannot afford it, so do you want him to throw parents out of the house? That means you're not a virtuous wife. A virtuous wife would never say that. So taking care of the parents indirectly also becomes the duty of the wife. Though they may not be your direct mother and father, but they are father-in-law and mother-in-law. Because you have to look after your husband, and one of the duties of your husband is to look after his parents, so it becomes indirect your duty. Indirect, it becomes a duty. Indirect. Since you are the muhsana, you have to try and see to it that you don't create problems. But if he says you want to separate, he said, no problem, why do you require separate? If he says that, there's so much difficulty, all staying together, so you have to solace him and say that this difficulty, no problem, at least this will take us to Jannah. If we stay separately, then I won't be able to serve your mother, you won't be able to serve your mother. So better we face some difficulties in this world so that we have a Jannah in the hereafter. That's a muhsana. So I feel, yes, fine, if they're very well off and if they stay separately and he can look after the parents also and saying that fine, because my parents are elderly, they would prefer staying separately and they don't mind and you have a separate, then it's fine. If that's the wish of the parents, or if it's easily done and yet he takes care of both, he can keep someone to take care, etc., that's permissible. But if it's difficult and if it's poor, going to get difficulties for you and your parents and all, then I feel it should not be done. Hope that answers the question.
Brother, if a non-Muslim girl marries a Muslim boy, is it compulsory for her to change her name after marriage?
If a non-Muslim girl marries a Muslim boy, unless she doesn't accept Islam, she cannot marry. If a non-Muslim,
after she accepts Islam, and she marries,
and then marries, does she have to change the name? It is not compulsory for her to change the name unless the name involves shirk. If the name involves shirk, like Lakshmi. Lakshmi is the name of one of the goddesses. If it involves shirk, she'll have to change it. If it does not involve shirk, it's not for to change, but it is preferable. It's preferable, especially in this age. Though at that time, people never used to change the name. But here, I feel it's a requirement because if she's proud to be a Muslim, why should she not want people to know that she accepted Islam? So if she's only done for namesake, because of infatuation, then that she will not want to change. She doesn't want to show that yet she is a non-Muslim. So my advice in such case would be that it is preferable that she changes the name so that the people will not get a misunderstanding that she is yet a non-Muslim. But it's not a farz to change. Hope that answers the question.
Jazakallah.
This was the last question of this session on better half or better half. Inshallah, we'll meet next time. Wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillah rabbil alameen.
Stay young, forever be true. Cherish this life that's destined for you. Live your life with kindness and care. Remember, Allah will always be there, be there. Nikahun mubarakun, zawajun mubarakun, النكاح من سنتي ما قال النبي هو الصحيح نكاح مبارك نكاح مبارك زواج مبارك